Hi everyone, welcome to AI in L&D and HR Weekly, episode 3. This podcast and video designed to get you up to speed with what's been happening in our industry in AI in the last 7 days. So we're going to dive straight into it with 3 articles now that are all about training and the need for training. I think this is going to be an increasing trend this year and into next, where companies have been frustrated about the lack of productivity gains they're seeing from their workforce after just giving people Copilot or ChatGPT or similar accounts. There was this assumption that if we just gave it to people, they would know what to do, know how to apply it to their work, and have the time, crucially, to be able to figure out how they could do their work more effectively. But in many companies, that just clearly hasn't been the case. And what we're seeing now is a whole load of announcements around training. And of course, I'm from this industry, learning, training, development. So it's quite exciting, I suppose, for me to see a bunch of my colleagues in learning. Quite exciting for me to see that a lot of learning and training is going to be in this direction. And there's going to be probably, hopefully, a lot of work for us all coming soon. So first one is Citi, which as you dig into it, on the face of it, the first one is Citi, which has done this big announcement that they're going to be training 180,000 employees total, which sounds, like quite a lot. But then when you dig a little bit into it, it's prompt training. So firstly, prompt training feels quite 2023 as an initiative, but sure, people need to learn to prompt better anyway. And then when you dig even deeper, experts should be able to complete the training in 10 minutes, whereas beginners should expect to complete it in 30 minutes. It's somewhat disappointing that they're only spending 30 minutes on this. If this is going to fundamentally transform their work, you need to spend a little bit more time than half an hour digging into this. But you know what? It's a start. The second story on this is Databricks, who say they want to train 100,000 people in AI across the UK and Ireland. So Databricks is a data intelligence platform who, if you go on their website, are now all about AI. And here they are collaborating with what has been called the UK Get Tech Certified this autumn program. So this is trying to address an identified gap in the UK working population in AI skills. So I don't know how the funding works with this, but Databricks has developed some kind of learning initiative where they've partnered with the government and universities. It says it's a 3-month scheme which provides free AI and machine learning training for public sector employees across the country. So again, potentially really exciting. Databricks know what they're doing, perhaps more than Citigroup do. We'll wait to see the impact this has. And then thirdly, BCG, the Chief AI Ethics Officer, Stephen Mills, said that what we found is that employees want about 5 hours of hands-on training, coaching, and mentoring, and only a third are getting that. So he's saying, which kind of chimes with the Databricks and the Citi thing and some news we had last week, is that people now want training on this. They have been using it for a while. They're getting some benefits, but there are these promises of all these other benefits that they feel like they're not getting. So training, learning, deliberate practice is going to be really important over the next 3, 6, 12 months. And this is what we know from learning theory. To become an expert in anything, you need deliberate practice guided by experts with a real world challenge. So you need to be working on something that's really actually important for you, so you care about it. And there's plenty of opportunity for that inside organizations. But from my personal experience, learning AI workflow automation over the summer, it took a period of time where I didn't have much paid work to be able to dedicate weeks and weeks to learning this stuff, because once you go beyond basic prompting in chatbots, you realize that it actually does take a lot of time to figure this stuff out. It's not all automated. And of course, it will get more and more automated, but you're figuring out the use case. You're working out what services to pipe together. You're building knowledge and context. You're doing a lot of things foundationally to actually get these systems to deliver the value you want them to deliver. And that is what organizations are starting to realize. Okay, let's move on. Slack is turning Slackbot into an AI assistant. So for anyone who's used Slack over the last decade, Slackbot is a kind of very basic tool that gives you simple automated bits of information. But what they said they've done is they've rewritten Slackbot from the ground up as a personalized AI companion. So Slackbot now pops into the right-hand side of your Slack window, and it draws on all the data that is available to you within Slack. And what they've done is they've created a new search and information retrieval system that makes it way more effective than before. And basically, if you're using Slack as your place where you work, which lots of companies are, it's now going to be way easier for you to find stuff, find old conversations, and do things, trigger actions from within Slack. So potentially exciting, and this is where we're moving towards AI assistants and agents just being embedded by default in basically every application that you use. It feels like we're kind of almost there already. And then, of course, the next step is for all those to talk to each other. And that's why things like MCP, the Model Context Protocol, is really important, which is a standard for connecting AI applications to other systems. So one AI-powered interface can talk to a database or talk to another AI-powered interface or talk to a tool, and you don't have to do this copy pasting between different systems. Everything should just kind of talk to each other as standard. Okay, next article. For all the L&D people and HR people here, Cornerstone has announced some more AI agents. They're calling Galaxy AI Agent Ready, where there are agents who can do more things for you, basically, who can build content, who can tailor that content to individuals and groups. The goal here for organizations to unlock ROI from their existing learning investments and deliver learning across modalities. So what we see here is a maturing of this idea of agents, again, being embedded within the tools that professionals use. We've got these kind of two tracks going on at once, where you have the incumbent large tech companies like Cornerstone, who are racing to embed AI and agents within their tools. And then on the other side, we've got these startups who are rapidly catching up. Companies like Arist, who are doing quite, I think, absolutely fascinating things within this industry, where they have decided and built from the ground up an AI-first content creation and delivery application that works just within Teams and within Messenger. So they decided people don't want to go to an LMS to learn. Nobody likes to do that. People want to learn in the space where they work. And for most people, that's Microsoft Teams, or if you're like a frontline worker, that's on your phone. So we can deliver it through SMS. So Arist is kind of eating Cornerstone's lunch, and Cornerstone is desperately trying to keep up. So if you're a Cornerstone user, Look out for that. Give it a go. Let me know how it is. Next up, I think we all saw this coming. There are AI chatbots replacing India's call center workers. So, of course, many, many big companies over the last few decades have outsourced or offshored customer service to countries like India, where labor is cheaper and the level of English is very good. An Indian company called LimeChat is now promising to then replace that suite of call center workers in India with AI voice agents. And there are some pretty startling claims they're making that they enabled clients to slash by 80% the number of workers needed to handle 10,000 monthly queries. The quote from the co-founder, Nikhil Gupta, is, "Once you hire a LimeChat agent, you never have to hire again," which is, has a slightly ominous ring to it, and potentially huge implications for this massive workforce that's been built up over, the last few decades in places like India. It's going to have a huge impact on that economy and that job market. So we'll see where that one goes. And then finally, for today, this is the headline. Majority of Gen Z workers use ChatGPT to slack off at work, which is a survey has said 4 in 10 Gen Zers surveyed talk to AI chatbots for at least an hour every day. 4 in 10 prefer AI to Google, and 1 in 4 describe their AI chatbot as a friend, therapist, or co-worker. We see a lot of headlines like this, a lot of stereotyping of Gen Z and their work patterns. That one of the stats that's presented as slightly sensational is the fact that during a typical workday, 43% of Gen Z workers surveyed said they spent at least 30 minutes using ChatGPT or a similar AI chatbot. From my experience, I can't imagine that is any different for millennials or even boomers or Gen X. Forgot you, Gen Xers. I think almost everyone I know is using things like ChatGPT for at least 30 minutes. It really depends on all the kinds of people we're surveying here. And from what it looks like, we don't actually have any information on who these people are and what their jobs are. So pinch of salt as always, but I suppose more evidence that this is being used. More and more people are relying on it for certain aspects of their work. And for a lot of people, they prefer talking to AI than to people, which is kind of sad, but also possibly beneficial. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about this. I talk to AI all the time, of course, but I would never describe an AI chatbot as my friend or therapist, possibly co-worker, I think, possibly assistant. But yeah, it's a wild world we're in at the moment, folks. I'll see you next week for more AI in L&D and HR Weekly. See ya.